had a wonderful weekend. Hopefully the mic is working well and everyone can hear me. And let's jump right into it. So with the profile, we can see yesterday, if we just take a peek back at Friday, I know it was gone Thursday and Friday, missed some nice trading it looked like. We can see here, my pen go, that the market was very emotional, right? We had Powell's speech come out after the market looked up higher and the market started selling lower. We one time frame down for most of the day. The market looked to catch a little bit of bounce off that 4100 level as some people tried to buy up that level. I'm gonna adjust this, keeps hitting my chair. There we go. Let me know if you guys hear like background noise and stuff like that. I'm still trying to get everything kind of situated here, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, so we saw some people look to buy that 4100 level, pretty psychological number, right? Just easy to see. So people started to buy. The market gave a little bit of a bounce. Probably had a bunch of people pile in. You see a little bit of volume there. And then, the one time framing down continued, leaving behind single prints all over and going below that previous balance low. If we look back, remember this previous balance from late July, early August that had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days of balance. We kind of just squeaked right through there after getting accepted back into that range, right? So this was a fairly easy, or I mean, everything's always easy after the fact, right? But looking back, right, in hindsight, this is something to add to your book or add to your thought process. We have a balance, we move lower, we get accepted in the balance, we look above the balance and then fail, right? Yeah, that was given on some news and it was a little bit harder to catch, right? Volatile market. But I mean, that's the textbook definition, right? Where's the balance low? It breaks the balance low. And if we even zoom in here, and the screen's a little bit, let me know how the screen looks too, because I'm using just like the top right portion of my screen to do the stream. So I'm not using like a full-size screen, so I might have to reorganize my desk a little bit to get everything back to proper. That's why I gotta drag everything, which is kind of frustrating, but what can you do? We can see like right from that balance low is pretty much where that spike came in, that lower downside spike. So we had a spike to the low side, and we've got Globex overnight inventory pretty much 100% net short. You can see the settle and then the last, right? So you've had some actual trading a little bit lower in the session after that. The last trade ended up being at 42.75, and then we're looking to open up on a gap lower. Got you 5-5. Sounds good so far. Nice. Peter, good morning. Adam, good morning. Pop, good morning. Double R, good morning. So yeah, I mean, so what I'm kind of expecting this morning, or what I'm looking for, what I'm kind of setting up for, is maybe a retest of this overnight point of control, and then a pop of that last. That pop of the last is going to be key, right? That's where I think shorts will start to cover, and then maybe some more upside looking to close that gap. On any bid up to move to the upside that fails to capture that last, I know the Globe XI is right here, but a move up that fails to capture that last, I think, is going to just retrace back to the downside. Dr. VJ, good morning. Let's go ahead and take a peek around the block real quick. We can see Apple is looking like it's going to be opening on a gap down. It had some kind of wicks up here, nothing real crazy. AMD below that 0 gamma level, so that's going to be interesting. If AMD hangs out below this 89.98, we're going to see possibly some more downside. This is actually the level where I wanted to maybe buy back my my calls. So I had a call, you guys know, from September. Um, I, told you guys last week on Wednesday I sold it. I thought it was a little bit premature. The market popped up on Thursday, right? Another like $4, kind of killing me. Well, not really killing me because I'd already sold, I guess, but I bought it for like 380, sold it for $5, so I made about 250 bucks. It ended up shooting up on Thursday and went up to almost $11. So I missed out on another $5. Um, yeah, and then
Sorry, dude.
yeah, that's all right. What can you do? I mean, I'm glad I was out of it before Friday, but
Yeah, Friday took a dump.
yeah. But this is kind of the area as I had some spots that I might want to look to buy back. I do have some areas a little bit lower on AMD that I might try. I like the 86 level if we get down there to the 86. Um, Another thing on Apple, as let me switch back to Apple real quick. Apple's coming back down into this gap, this 159.5, 157.64. So we may see some responsive buying show up in this gap. I have it marked, so we should get an alert when that goes off. Amazon going to be opening lower as well. The Dow, Disney also going to be opening lower, a lot lower. Google going to be opening up lower on a gap. Meta, same idea. Microsoft had a real big wick this morning down to that 260, but looked to get bought up. So that was kind of an interesting move early. Netflix not really doing anything. Nvidia back below that 160 level. That's going to be a key level for the Nvidia to hold today. You can see the triple Q, right? So these are all big lows that we put in. So we haven't seen the VIX spike up yet, saying that it's got to a low, but we have seen it move up a pretty decent amount. So it's just something to pay attention to. But that is pretty much it. We've got about 7 minutes until the market opens up. Hopefully you guys are all ready, prepared, and let's get into it. What happened here? Didn't get changed? On with this thing. Oh, it's on the daily. That's why I was like, what the fuck? Oh. Roach, good morning. I got share my sound real quick. All right. Jason, what's up? LFG. Get this bag. Oh, a little preemptive there. Okay, Brad, you can say it. Let's get after it. Let's get after it. Steal your trademark. All right, let's get some Reveille going. Let's get started. All right, all right. We are pumped and ready. Let's get it. Let me just go ahead and share our stream real quick. And then we will be 100% good to go. Dan, what's up, man? Let's see. Dan said he finally pulled the rug, looking for entries on swing puts in tech today. Friday was internal shift in bearish structure. Ready to give day to days on options and break and let the market pay me. Entire rally we've had was based on hope, and the Fed has pivoted. Powell's just shit on that dream Friday. Bring it. I literally have 6 different 16 contracts. Just please give a little pop up today for entries. Don't make me watch the market move straight down. I think I think today you might see a little bit of a move up. The market was extremely emotional, and typically when there's selling in the market, when big money is selling the market, you don't see um this kind of ugly structure moving down. This is a sign, especially with all these single prints, is just a really emotional market. And if you look at the keys on these single prints or the highs on a lot of these single prints, like it's very, to me, very mechanical selling, right? Um, I think we got like the liquidation early on, right? You get all these B single prints, all these C single prints, and then the selling after that was just shorter time frame sellers selling. So any pushback against that really could cause some short covering. Not that I'm thinking all of a sudden we're going to get some big rally. It's just something that we definitely want to at least be aware of, right? You don't want to necessarily just abandon the odds of possibility that we could see a little pop early on here. So just something to think about. I tend to kind of just be patient early on here. I think there might be an opportunity to fade, especially if we get back above that 42.75, to fade back to the low of Friday and get into that spike where we should see some patient sellers waiting up there at the 58. Double R, I did hear about it. I was actually reading about it. Yeah, and if you look on the chart, uh, yeah, I mean it looks good. It looks good. We've been talking about it for months. You brought it to the chat, which was amazing, and I think it definitely has good odds, good opportunity to to be a pretty good move. I've seen some other energy companies. There's a German energy company that's on a tear, so it makes sense if the French one is next. Good analysis. Thanks, bro. Oh, Dan Buckley. Yeah, chilling. I'm waiting on put entries. Yeah, exactly, Dan. Like there's a good opportunity to just yeah, let if you're looking for that short, let the market, get out of your way early on, and let these weaker handed traders get squeezed up a little bit. If there is no squeeze up at all, I mean this thing, yeah, it could just fall like a stone. All right, 30 seconds. Here's the open.
Yeah, not even to have a bias, Brad, but like what was that, June 9th? Like last time we were at this level, um prior to, going up on the 27th or something like that, or 26th. But June 9th, man, right last time we came down to this level, it shit off a cliff.
So little bounce around, still inside the Globex session. Watch to see if the market stays below the open. I think that's going to be the key here early on. So if the market stays below the open, that should be good for selling. If the market gets above its open, you may see a little bit of a short covering rally here early on in the session. So just be careful of that. Tick opens up really low. The breadth just opens up terrible. The breadth on the NASDAQ isn't too low, which is surprising, right? And that's kind of what is making me think, here that we might get a nice little rally on early. Look at the triple Q, catching a little bit of a bounce here early on in the session. So back above the open, watch the volume. Back to the open. Today's just one of those days. The bot got a put, yeah, makes sense. I mean the breadth is down, but look at the breadth. It was 10-1 early on, now it's 7-1. So it just dropped really quick. Down a little bit. So VPOC shifts up, market staying above that VPOC here. Back below the open. Okay. Yeah, it's in my suitcase. In 30% of your short size? What are you shorting, Dan? Wanted to get in on that nice pop. I don't know. I think there still might be some upside left. Just be careful with that short. Crypto Mojo, good morning. Bye, buddy. All right, sounds good. I'll add a little if we continue in the afternoon session. Yeah, see, the thing is, if there's not selling, to me, I think getting short late in the day is probably the wrong move, to be honest, just because, you know, this is a low spot to get short from. You know what I mean? You probably should have shorted, um, you know, last week while we were in that balance, looking for that balance low, taking some off, and then yeah, short some pops. I think if there's selling early today, right? If we get some, and I mean the market's just been open for 3 minutes now, but if we get some selling early today, we're able to break this Globex low, you're going to be good. But if you get short now, right, and then there's not a break of the Globex low by lunchtime, you definitely going to want to be careful of that short, to be honest. At least in my opinion, right? I'm not an expert, uh, but here we go with this pop. It just makes sense that you're getting a lot of squeezing out. The market was very emotional on Friday. It wasn't a sign, not to me at least, of big money selling. I know a lot of people are coming into the day, they're short, they have a short bias. They're like, well, last time we were in this range, we shit off a cliff, Jared. Yeah, that's just uh, not a good reason to get short, and I know you're not getting short off of that just alone, but you definitely want to trade the right side of the chart, right? They say history often repeats itself, or it rhymes.
That's an emotional reason. Jared's reason's an emotional reason. Well, that's what it did last time, so that's what it's
Hey,
going to do this
hey,
time.
I'm not even I'm not even in a trade
So
right now.
Good
I'm
for
just watching.
you.
a nice long right here going. The target is the 42, right? So we're looking for that 42 to hold, or for the market to get above. If the market doesn't get above that 42 and hold, then chances are you probably will be looking at that Globex low. You can see where the market's really thin at, sitting there. 34 is a thin spot and 31.75 is a thin spot. These contracts are 2 weeks out, end of the month. I'm not really concerned about the perfect entry. I'm just trading loose as fuck here. Keep Amazon on the monthly. Yeah, I've been paying attention to a lot of these on the monthly, because that's how I do everything. But I start with the monthly out. Let me hide our put call levels for a second. Was it on there twice? Oh. Oh, it just shows them all. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, this is the key thing here, and let me show you something. And history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Mark Twain. There we go. Thank you. But check this out, and this is my reasoning behind this long and my kind of bias long today, because of how emotional the market was. So yeah, we're moving down, but this is Amazon that we're looking at, but pretty much the market looks the same. We're one time framing up on the monthly, okay? One time framing up, right? What would it take? And this is how I think about everything. Good morning, Trin. This is how I think about everything. What would it take for the market to break or have a cessation of one time framing to the upside? Well, pretty far move all the way down here to the one up. Bye, buddy. Love you. Hold hands. All right, have a good day. Be good. Okay. So right to the Globex high, A high is mechanical. What would it take to get a cessation of one time framing? Right, a pretty large move. You know, a $25 move is a pretty big move. Right, the month ends in 2 days. We've got the 29th today, the 30th, and then I think August has 31 days. Right, so 31 days. Right, yeah, the monthly is in a downtrend. I'm not arguing with the downtrend, but I'm just saying there's better spots to get short from. You know, as we can see that pop already up about 10 handles from where we were talking about. So this is how I'm thinking about it on the monthly, and that would be, and I'm not saying that it's not gonna happen, right? It definitely can happen. What I'm saying is we have to maintain perspective, right? We always want to maintain perspective. So the next month opens up, we see that this is this month's low. So coming into the end of the month, will they just jam this thing down? Probably not, to be honest. I think that we just kind of settle a little bit, right? We've got the 30th and the 31st coming up. You know, it's just a tough thing to say. What will be the key and what will confirm is, so let's say the next month opens up, you can see where my mark is on Amazon. I have the previous monthly low marked, because a break of that would give us the signal, or saying the other time frame trader, a larger other time frame trader on a monthly level, has entered the market, right? We've seen the intermediate term trader on the weekly enter the market, right? We've seen the daily, naturally, which is just a shorter term time frame trader, enter the market. Amazon's one time framing down here. But on the monthly, we just haven't seen it yet. And I'm not saying that it's not going to happen, like I said, but you've got to just be patient. There's good spots to get short from. If you're convinced that, let's say Amazon, or would you say, what else did you say you're shorting, Dan? Amazon, Spy, and Netflix. Oh, Netflix is a good short all the time, I think. But you just want to be careful that you have your spots mapped out to take profit, right? So I have some levels here that I like on the Spy lower, actually, too, to see if responsive buyers show up. This 405, the 396, the 388. I think those are opportunities for buyers to show up until they break that 385. I think if the Spy breaks 385, goodbye. Like I think that'll be they'll look to test those lows. And like I said, I'm not trying to say that you're wrong at all, right? And I wasn't trying to talk you out of getting short. I'm just always trying to help everybody maintain perspective. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the key things that we need to do here as risk managers, is make sure that we maintain perspective all the time. So we're 10 minutes in here. You think that was the pop, Jason? And take a look at the sectors here, so we can see Tech is doing well. Healthcare is kind of weak. Consumer discretionary is really strong. Already closed the gap. Financials kind of mixed. Communications closed the gap. Industrials weak. Staples weak. Energy strong naturally. Utilities is really weak. Materials weak, and real estate kind of weak as well. I really love this new screen I got, guys. It's dope as fuck. Not gonna lie. I was watching JD videos and he was talking about a chunky profile. What would you consider chunky? I would say a profile like so like this is kind of why I thought Friday was weak and emotional. We only have 5 TPOs. If you get 7 to 10 TPOs, oh, fuck, bro, why does zero charts do this shit? Oh, God. Okay, so every time I move it, so you see here we have the 9 TPOs in the middle, right? So 7 to 10, I would say, is a good size profile. Yeah, I'm at my new house. Yeah, everything's set up. Internet's fucking blasting, gigablast. So there's the break of last here, as predicted. All right, so now that here's the key, guys. So 5 contracts trade on that high tick. The key here for these buyers is to hold the market above the last. So they've got to continue to hold the market above the last. If they fail to hold the market above last, we'll probably target the Globex low here. But if they are able to hold it above last, and we see some selling right above last and profit taking most likely. But if they are able to hold it above last, I think you see boom shorts just fucking cover. Did all that talk of buying monitors for the auction theory lead you to buy a new one? Atomic Habits. No, what happened was my old widescreen broke in the move. It got like a pressure crack in it. And so I had put this one in my what's it called? My Amazon shopping cart. Got an alert that said the price drop from $875 to $600, and I said, buy now.
That's the true proof of the auction.
That's what I do with everything. Anytime I like anything, I put it in my Amazon cart, and if an alert hits my cell phone that says, hey, because it won't say like, it'll say something in your cart has changed price, right? And then you just go to it and see what the price change was, and then boom. I mean, that's how I got the fucking Alienware monitor for so cheap too. And literally that honestly, that's the biggest key of the auction market theory that I've ever had is the price dropped for this Alienware monitor, same monitor Jared has, and I had been waiting to buy it because it was like $750, and I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking buy it for that much. It fucking dropped down. I think it was like $450. I bought it, screenshot it, sent it to Jared. I said, yo, these are on sale, just snag one. By the time he logged on to get one, the price had already jumped back up to $750. Like, if that's not the auction market theory for you guys,
what a bunch of crap that was.
You remember that shit? I was like, oh
yeah.
You're like, where are you seeing this? And I'm like, bro, I bought it just now. Like,
and then I didn't believe you at first, and then you sent me the screenshot of what you paid for it, and I was like, what the fuck?
Morning, Reyes.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, Dad. Holy fuck, bring the volatility. Yeah, today's gonna be a volatile day.
Last week of the month.
Yeah, last 2 days. And that's the thing is like, because is it
3 days?
Is it 31st, right?
Yeah, Wednesday. That's the last day.
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, so we may see, like I said, I think if we don't, we may just see a little bit of balancing lower. But if we don't see a break of this Globex low early here, and I'm talking like within C period, to me would be early, it's going to be tough to be short today. And I think there'll be better opportunities to get short later on, because you've got these big hedge funds that are probably getting calls saying, hey, what the fuck? Why is my 401k down? Blah blah blah. Even though they're I mean, you had this crazy bounce the past couple weeks, but they're still going to be getting these calls, right? And if they lose the money, if people say, "Oh, I want to take my money out," that's not good for business. And towards the end of the month, you really don't see a lot of people selling because most of this in investment money or institutional money, right? They don't make money by the market going down, right? They're also long in the market. The thing is that they're just basing everything off percentages. Okay, so the market drops 5%, they got to sell some SPY, right? That's how their allocation is mapped out, right? They're not like, oh, I'm just going to short the fucking market to zero. That's not going to help them at all, right? There's very, very few, if any, hedge funds or institutional desks that are net short desks, right? If anything, most desks are sitting fairly cash heavy. Okay, Dan, nice. You want a short on BTC at 21,400? Yeah, BTC's fucking took a dive. How's it doing now? Let me pull it up. Yeah, it's sitting right there below 2,000. It's the Bitcoin futures here. A bank holiday in the UK market. Yeah, there wasn't much action during the UK session overnight. Watch this 3450 level. That was kind of the big level to break this morning, that the market kind of rejected off this 34 level, and then when it did break it, got that big move up to the 44. Market's starting to get really tight. Nice, Dan. Cool. Yeah, catch a good workout and then jump back on, bro. We'll be here. We're chilling like a villain at the Holiday Inn. And let me know if the mic sounds okay. Like I said, I got everything set up a little bit different today. Yeah, might as well go put in some work. We should start a little market work, right? When the market's just kind of chilling, we fucking grab some burpees or something. There's 1 gram of protein in every burpee. I don't know if you guys knew that. That's science. You guys are over
You
there.
do the same thing. Instead of making it a drinking game, you make it a burpee game. So every time the market does every time you see a Brad tick or Brad count, whatever that term was, I don't remember what it was, then you have to do like 5 burpees or something.
See, I normally work out before we get on, so I'll be too sore for any of that. I could do some push-ups though. I could do push-ups basically forever. I'm like conditioned for push-ups after the army. Yeah, we'll shout you out, Dan, if anything starts to get crazy. You want to look to cover those puts for some cash. So we've got a break of the Globex high here. Market's just kind of rebounding, coming back to half back. Watching this 34 level as a level to see the market establish above. You can see where the VPOC's at. VPOC's up at 36. That pop off that 34 there. Big bid stepping up on the 36 here, 250 lots. Holds pretty well there. Look at the advanced decline, how weak it is. Look at the breadth. That should tell you something. We were negative 10 breadth, all of a sudden we're basically flat. Right? So that to me tells me that the selling is just really not that strong. Watch that 42.75 here. A lot of volume coming in right here. Fucking just to give us a little bit more space with the TPO. Mike sounds good, by the way. Is this the first session on the new setup? Yeah, this is the first one, man. First session. First session on the new setup.
Did you say that you're going to be out this weekend also? Or this Friday? Or was that before?
I should be here this Friday. I don't think I have anything planned this Friday. So watch the 42.75 here. Little people selling right here. Looks like some profit taking early before that last. You can go ahead and delete these single prints too. Amazon's actually green, up 0.8. Apple kind of down the most, 1.6. But Apple was up the most too. Yeah, I'm all moved in. Yep. All moved in. I fucking spent all weekend unpacking boxes, setting everything up. So really there's nothing left to do. I unpacked every single box, and goddamn was it a lot of boxes, man. My hands look like I work construction for a living.
Apple and Microsoft have been edging down. Because Apple was only at 0.5 earlier and now it's at 1. And Microsoft was at, I don't know, 0.3 and now it's at 0.7 down. But still hasn't made a decision yet because it's still kind of all over the place.
Yeah, Apple's just balancing inside its previous candle here too. Geez, sometimes it's so difficult sitting through these fluctuations. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, is Christian with some profit today? Yeah, it is. So far it is. Unless I blow it. Young Cryptic, yeah, I figured that was you, bro. The screen is nice because it's basically like 4 screens in one screen. And so like I have everything on this front screen and I can just see everything all the time. And so I don't get distracted. Like it's not like sometimes I'll leave the TPO like this because I'm looking at one of my other screens, but here I have everything right in front of me. Even on the same screen, I have my sectors list. Oops. I've got my time and sales. I've got my watch list. Like I've got everything right here. So it's a lot easier to focus on the stream. Off Grid Trading is trading live now. Check him out on YouTube. He's a former brokerage that's doing 25 years plus, very knowledgeable. It's a 43-inch widescreen, but it's not curved. It's basically like a 43-inch TV. It's a big ass screen. There's someone lifting 40-25 100 lot order just went through on the tape. But it's basically
it's
like
a
a TV.
4K TV. It's
yeah,
4K,
it's 4K,
right?
Yeah, it's 4K. Mark, what's up, man? Producer 717. Who is that off grid trading? Let's see. He's on YouTube. Nice pop Roski here. Let's go. So back above the last. How tall is it? Let me see. My fucking tape measure right here, bro. It's 24 inches tall. 2 feet. No, it's a monitor. If it was a TV, like, so the thing about if you connect a TV, the display gets all fucked up because most TVs are put in like 1080, right? But the display on this is, oops, hang on, let me change that back to Apple, my bad. So like this is it's a 3840 by 2160. So look for volume to come in above the last. If volume continues above the last, look for the gap to fill. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cool. It is an LG. Counts even higher, 4440. See an Apple still sitting below that first period. What do we got? We've got 3 minutes until the next bar opens up too, so just be careful here. Starting to see the NASDAQ breath flip green. Tech is green. Healthcare is still struggling. Consumer discretionary is really strong, but kind of pulling back here. Financials broke its open. Communications is actually looking probably the second strongest, behind energy. I'm looking for that gap fill, and then here's the thing here. So if they're not able to hold above this 42.75, really, I'm going to be targeting this low here. So anytime we get back below, and I won't be really keying in on it until below the open, right? Obviously we've had some strength above the open. A break of the open here at this point would probably give us some confidence to trade back down to that 40.07. But if we keep holding up above this 42.75, I'll be looking for that gap close. You could see all the volume that came in on that last trade right there. Just to confirm, Stacy, is that 44 calls and 40 puts. Calls and then puts. Another big buy order at the 40.38 quarter, 119 lots there.
Yeah, the numbers that I put out are always call/puts.
So here we go. What it's looking like to me on the DOM right now is we're seeing offers stack from like 38 to 42. So if they get above that 42 again, this thing was just gonna probably rip. Yeah, Jason, it's a nice monitor. It's nice to have everything. It's wide, yeah. Yeah, it's wide. It takes up like probably 3/4 of my desk. NASDAQ coming back down here pretty good. Breath just flipped a red.
Microsoft just hit 1%, and Apple's back to 1% down. It was in the 90s for a minute there.
So if the gap fills, is that bullish, or are you expecting a dump after that? So if the gap fills it, I mean, it doesn't really tell us much except for that there's some weaker handed traders and more emotion in the market. What would tell us more is if the gap doesn't fill, right? If the gap doesn't fill, that gives us a little bit more information than if the gap does. And if we scroll up here, we had this previous gap and we didn't fill it on Friday, even though during B period, right, the market broke the open, it rallied, everyone was like, fucking buy it, they got trapped, and then, you know, the market started puking after Powell. Really didn't say anything different. So, you know, and you saw the tone on Twitter instantly shift from the the bear market's over, where this thing's gonna fucking rally to all-time highs and blah blah blah. Everyone was talking about that, and then Friday came and they're like, you know, man bear pig, you know, the fucking world's ending. And it was like what happened? You know, Powell didn't say anything really extreme except for that they're gonna, you know, continue to use the tools and that, you know, what they're doing is not working. But we already know that, right? It's pretty obvious that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're just kind of playing it by ear. Does anyone use trading light instead of XO? I don't think so. I don't know, to be honest. I know a lot of people use Go charts. Still seeing some decent volume around this 34 level. 32, 34. You thought he was pretty hawkish, Mark? What did you think was hawkish about his statements? I mean, I'm like genuinely asking. I'm not trying to like be a dick. I didn't get anything new out of his statements. I thought he had pretty much said everything that he said before. Now Kashkari, on the other hand, that mother dude, he you know, he wants the market to crash, bro. He's got puts for sure on the SPY. Really even trading here around this 32, 34 level, pretty balanced. Remember, we still have a couple weak spots on the profile down here. Oh, it just disappeared. Right here, this 26 right here below the open. This is a tougher go with trade right here. If the market breaks the open, it's tougher to go with it here early because we could see some I mean, where B period is still inside A, so it's really just kind of still balancing. Yeah, Mark, he did say that. He said expected some abnormally high rate, but the thing is, he stuck away from saying that they were going to do that, those rates, or those big rates. Where's that fucking? Yeah, good call out, Jason. We got the weighted AD shifting to red here. That was I was saying the Nasdaq shifted to red, or back to red, but it's still, I mean, it's still so light and so undecided that it really just kind of lacks confidence on either side here. Let me pull up the Fed fund tool. So here's the target rate, or here's what we're at now, this 35 target rate. Where's the dot plot? The one that I like to track. You can kind of see we had before some higher rates, but you basically kind of see that the Fed at least is kind of just thinking that we're pretty much going to be relatively similar. See, so after this 3.375, and right now what's the rate at 275, so we're talking about another point up, really, that you're looking at a probable raise, or at least that's what they're expecting, is another probable raise. Long term, they're expecting the rate to come down. There is some more hawkish people, right? Like I said, Kashkari is pretty hawkish. What's her name in San Francisco is pretty hawkish. He said if the Fed funds rate gets over 3.5, the economy will implode. Yeah, the thing is that it's hard to just say that and know for sure, right? Because I mean, people have been kind of calling so much stuff forever. And what's his name? Invest Answers. Let me look him up. I think somebody sent me him before. Is it this guy right here? Look, he's got a ton of subscribers. You know who I really like? Is Civico. I probably butchered the name, but this channel here, Civico Capital, this guy's got a really good insight and really good history of the market. I mean, I do watch this guy's video. He posts a video every Friday. And I think he has a really good grasp on the market, and he doesn't give you any levels or like tell you when to buy or when to sell. He just tells you about how the market's acted in previous times. Yeah, that's true. We are much higher GDP to debt. He only started his channel like 1.5 years ago. So, I mean, some people just, you know, they're on it. Their videos get jumping up. He's saying the right things, obviously. People want to hear. And it's like, I mean, you know, a lot of the videos that have a lot of views are also saying the market's going to crash. I mean, look at this, and not to you know, shit on somebody. What's his name? Oh, this guy right here. I mean, look at, he's got 165,000 subs, and I mean, he's been posting videos. I mean, we'll scroll down so we can get back into, you know, a couple years ago. I mean, Volcker did a terrible job, though. That's the thing. Volcker was just the worst. I mean, I could just keep scrolling forever, but like, you see the titles. It's the Great Reset, how it ends, it's all over, blah, 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 blah. I mean, yeah, this guy's got a ton of views because he's saying the market's going to crash, but he's been saying the market's going to crash since COVID, and we saw what happened. That's the thing. It's easy to say things. It's a completely different environment to trade, and we're just trading, you know, intraday trading. So, you know, not that it's not important to focus on the overall sentiment of the market, but we still have to maintain perspective, and that's the only thing I'm really trying to, you know, keep everyone's mind on track. Like, yeah, if you get distracted by the news, you can really, you can really, it can really interfere with your trading, right? It can really get to the point where, you know, you're so focused on either side, right? If you watch, I mean, fuck, look at the news, right? People that watch Fox News, they're just a certain type of people, and then people that watch CNN, they're also a certain type of people. And typically anyone that I've ever talked to that watches the news like religiously, or like they're always watching the news, right? Most of the time they're a fucking idiot. I'm not gonna lie. And if that's you out there, you know, maybe look in the mirror. Maybe you're a fucking idiot and you don't know it. Maybe because nobody's told you. Maybe because you haven't met me in real life. Because I would tell you. Ask Jared. Does the bot take in balances, put call ratio, combined analysis? Oh, you guys are talking nerd talk down there. About to spit out my coffee. I'm just honest, bro. That's just how I am. I've always been that way. And like, when people are fucking stupid, like, I'm just like, bro, you're a fucking idiot. And I'm not saying you are, Mark. I'm just saying, like, you know, sometimes people in general. On YouTube, I like seeing news on YouTube because it's from like a person. There's no agenda behind it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're trying to get views maybe, but you know, it's normally someone's personal thoughts. When you're talking about like Fox News and CNN, like there's an agenda. There's like a bigger picture behind all that shit. And typically everyone that I've ever met that watches that shit is a fucking idiot. Like, you know, and I mean, fuck.
Depends on what you're watching it for.
Yeah, it's all bullshit.
I mean, some people watch it to just
Unless it's the weather.
see what the rest of the world is saying. I mean, you get like yesterday. I mean, not that I was watching it, but when I was scanning across the news yesterday, they're sitting there talking about Russia and Ukraine bombing, both of them blaming each other for bombing the largest nuclear plant in Europe or in Asia. And it's like they went on about it for about 10 minutes. You know, whatever they're trying to promote or whatever they're trying to put across to everybody, it's a hidden agenda. So,
well, yeah, I mean, they
got their reasons.
There's a lot of fear mongering going on lately, because they need a catalyst, because they want whatever whatever their agenda is.
You know what I think stupid is I don't understand why Russia is even doing this. I have yet to figure that out.
The reason is fairly simple, and I'll drop it on you guys real quick, and don't get mad about hearing the truth here. Yeah, I'll definitely check him out, Mark. Thank you. Yeah, I just bookmarked his channel. I'll check it out this afternoon. I need some new stuff. Civico, yeah, Civico. Oh, okay, yeah, Jay, you watch him? Yeah, he said 2020 was the worst year for stocks in a half century. Yeah, Civic, that guy. I mean, he just spits out data. That's it. So here's why, right? Imagine, you're in a gang. This is your house. Okay? And here's the neighborhood, bunch of neighbors, right? This is your block, and I'm breaking this down very generically. You guys can put together the pieces yourself. I know my drawings are just terrible. Okay. Imagine that you used to own all these houses, right? Then there were some issues, and now you just own these ones. And these houses were neutral, right? We'll put them in yellow. Where's yellow at? We'll put them in yellow, right? They were neutral houses. Okay? But these houses over here are enemy houses, right? Now imagine all of a sudden these houses are switching, and they're even building new houses surrounding your house from a rival gang. What's your natural reaction? Right? It's a natural reaction for everybody.
That they're going to try and take you over.
Right.
Yeah.
So Russia's basically, and I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. Don't get me wrong here. But I'm saying they're pissed that the UN is building bases, or basically absorbing all of the countries, are surrounding Russia. You know what I mean? Like, so if we take a peek at this here, there's probably better ones. States of There it is. Here's a good one. And so, I mean, you can kind of see here. We zoom this in a little bit. Oh, it didn't work really well. I mean, we can kind of see the nations that are in the the teammates, basically, right? And Russia's just like, hey, back the fuck off. So, but they're not saying that. They're not saying that online, or on the news, right? They're like, oh, Russia's fucking, they're just destroying and killing children and blah blah blah. It's like, because they don't want anyone to know what's actually happening or what's really going on. They're just, talking about fucking, Putin and how evil he is. And yeah, I mean, maybe he is a fucking psychopath, bro. Like, yeah, I mean, he's scary to me. Like, fuck. I was one time watching an interview and they were asking like where his publicist was at, and he was like, he's no longer with us. Like, with you like on the news or like with you in the world? Like, where's he at? Like, is he gone forever? Like, he basically just made it like, yeah, he's gone. Break of that high. So when B came down and didn't break that open and then got back above that 34, really that was kind of our sign there. And now the market's trying to move up and looking to close this gap. Look where the weak spot's at here, right above that 42 quarter. And this is what I was talking about, how they were kind of stacking from that 38 to 42, and a break of that 42 would give us a push up. What it's looking like here is, I mean, if we look on that high tick, it just looks like we had a little bit of just profit taking. Everyone's unwilling to continue to buy, and we're just moving up on short covering. So the move up is weak, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to end, right? It would take selling to come in to continue to get the market down. And if we see a seller should take us below today's open. Plus World War II and US and Europe signed a treaty that they wouldn't keep building towards their border. Yeah, exactly. And they kind of did. NATO would fuck Russia up if they really wanted to. Dang. See how far his peeps sit away from him at that big ass table. Putin is a bitch and will tiptoe on the line, but he's not suicidal. Yeah, he's not stupid. Yeah, he's not stupid. That's the thing. It's like, I think he's smart. Yeah, and he doesn't want to. He just knows how much work it would take, And that's the thing, is it's hard for me to even get on board with actually what's even going on in Ukraine, as far as like, because everyone's saying Ukraine is just fucking Russia up, and maybe they are a bunch of hard ass motherfuckers. It used to be Russia, and if you ever seen any Russian army videos and stuff, like how they do their training, Saviske, shit's hardcore. A lot more hardcore than the American army, I'll tell you that. Maybe not as our special forces, and maybe that's what they were showing was their special forces, but I don't know. They said like their average one death per basic training cycle in Russia. And fucking that happened in the US, you'd have everybody crying. The army needs to stop killing young men, young women. Because everyone's a little whiny bitch. Oh yeah, they're getting that, billions and billions of dollars of U.S. rockets, and I mean, like, to me, when I think, oh, Ukraine's doing this all by themselves, I'm thinking in my head like, yeah, I'm sure they are. Like, I'm sure that the U.S. is just, fucking kicked back with their feet up on the desk, like, oh yeah, here's a check. Yeah. Like, yeah, we'll drop these bombs off for you. Like, okay. Come on. That's all I'm saying. People watching news, they're fucking idiots, bro. They believe that shit. They soak that shit up. They just don't use their brain. You know what I mean? Like, they are unwilling to receive perspective. Like, you tell them something that's counter to their opinion, they're like, idiot. And I'm just like, oh, come on, open your ears. At least just consider the alternative, don't be blind. That's why, there's certain people that are they just can't learn from anybody, because they feel like especially when they feel like they are superior to that person, they feel like they can't learn from anyone subordinate to them. And that's just, it's just such a mental crutch. What's up, Tommy? Where do you see the SPs starting and ending on BTC? Let me pull it. Let me pull up BTC. Trading view. Bitcoin's gassing, huh? Back above 20. Market's going up here too. Yeah, bank holiday in the UK. Romania was under USSR. Yeah. So, I mean, this level right here, this 2800 is a level that I've been watching like pretty key. And it was kind of the boundaries of our previous balance, right? This high, low, high, low, high, low. Got that little pop on Friday. Failed to take that 21,934, which was actually the target I was looking for on a pop above. You know, and then Friday happened and market shit the bed. But we're seeing, I mean, a pretty decent flush back into the risk on here. I mean, look at the breadth. Both flipped to green. You're getting a flip over in the weighted AD. Triple Q looking to close the gap from Friday. This is the close from Friday, that 30.07. So the triple Q is almost back up to trying to close that gap from Friday. May see the rejection here, Mark. Yeah, we'll see. Let's watch this level here, this 2047. That's where those single prints start at, right there. So basically, yeah, basically got into some single prints here. Oh, these things. Let's watch this zone right here. This would be an area. Copy this. Yeah, so these are going to be our single print levels here. So let's watch these levels here and see if we get that rejection. If it fills these single prints, this thing will probably come back up to 2,800. 20,800, right? I'm just shortening it. Counts are 113 to 27. So the market's still trying to gas here. Struggling here though at this 40-48, it looks like. Getting a lot of offers coming in here on this 48.5. Popped above it. If we run it, we may break into them. Looking for 2,600 on BTC. Yeah, you may catch that one. Where's the close from Friday? 23. Low here. 315. Put that alert on BTC. If that thing breaks, we'll look for some more upside. Apple trying to make a little comeback here. AMD still struggling, down about 1%, a little bit over 1%. I don't look at the I don't look at the footprint on BTC. No, it's just too spotty, and it's like it's just too there's just not one exchange. Maybe if you want to look at it on the futures, that wouldn't be a bad idea. But with the you know, all the different exchanges, it's kind of tough to decipher any of that. A lot of selling here on this 46. What do we got here? 4 minutes until the next period opens up. So let's see what C period brings us. C was C. That Ricky Gutierrez guy made 53K shorting NASDAQ last week in one day. I don't know who that is. Ricky Gutierrez. I don't understand why people. Well, I mean, I don't know who that is. Ricky Gutierrez. Was he from YouTube? Yeah, I've seen James make 60K in a day, and I've seen Jared lose 65K in a day and then make 65K in a day in the same day. Yeah, BTC still looks like it wants a little bit more upside. So you're finally seeing a little bit of supply come in here, it looks like, around this 46 to 48 level. So you need to see the market get back above that level if it wants to get some continuation to the upside. I've never even seen 65K. One day, bro. You're young. You got time. You got to remember, like, the people that are making that in a day, that's a high leverage day, right? A really high leverage day. He's a young, smart dude. I'll have to check him out. Made 14 bucks. Dude, I had a day a couple weeks ago where I did really well, and then my account got messed up because I was doing that trade copier, and I looked at my P&L at the end of the day, and it was negative 12 bucks. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I could have sworn I did really well today, and then yeah, it was negative 12 bucks. Isn't that just a pain in the ass? Go to work for the day and then come home and they're like, here's your paycheck, minus 12. Like back waiting tables. I used to wait tables at a restaurant, and sometimes you'd get a negative paycheck. Like if your tips were so high for the pay period, you'd get a negative paycheck. You wouldn't have to pay it, but it would just, they'd take it out of your taxes because you made so much cash. Yeah, and it factors into the account, yeah, naturally, right? Because you got to think about, you should be thinking about everything in percentages, right? People that are focused on dollars, right? That's why it's hard to be like, oh, I'm gonna make $1,000 every single day. Bears usually defend SPs. I mean, it just depends on the context, right? It depends on if they like the market. Like I said, I don't think Friday was really a ton of bigger money getting short. I think a lot of it. I mean, I do think that they sold. I just think a lot of it was related to that. What's it called? Like emotion. I think a lot of it was like the pile on effect. So we're back below that 42, 44 level. C period's open. Watch to see how it acts when it pops above, if it pops above this 42.75. I think Friday was very emotional, yeah.
We were watching the close of Friday, and it had like 20 or 30,000 that traded like right when it hit. I think what, 1 o'clock. Tommy, Steve, Stacy, and I were looking at it.
Oh,
And
when
it
the
just
market
all of a sudden
closed.
took, yeah, when it closed, just all of a sudden, boom, 20,000, 30,000 were trading at a time because it had huge volume at the very end of the day.
Yeah,
Huge.
because none of those are all weak-handed sellers. They're not carrying that over the weekend. Can you
I
imagine?
don't know. That looked more like institutional shit because it was 10,000 at once where everyone just closed and it killed the market. It dropped.
Yeah. I don't know.
It
I
was
mean,
quite the trip.
and like I said, I don't know for sure. It's just this is just my my interpretation of it. You know what I didn't look at though? I forgot to look at the COT report. I'm all messed up this week. I've never took so much time off the computer. So here's the COT report. So you can see it looks like institutional money added a little bit to their long or to their short, excuse me, but not much, and cut a lot of long. So a lot of profit taking, right? And then leveraged funds added to their long, but not too much, and then they took profit on a lot of shorts. But they're still, I mean, leverage is still 82% short. And you can see dealers, and that's tough. I mean, it's tough to tell. It doesn't really look like, I mean, adding 1,000 contracts as an institutional asset manager to your short side is not really, to me, telling of big selling. Market moving down here. Where's the open at? 28. Wanted to look at here. I'll just pull it down here so you can see. Bitcoin. Dallas Fed manufacturing negative 12.9 may be causing this downside here. Take this funky 25 points and go back to bed. Too damn choppy for me. All right, Jason, have a good day, man. Look at the NASDAQ. So here, look at this here. So the NASDAQ is telling us a different story. Then, oh, I'm on blue. Green. The NASDAQ looks like they cut long and added it to the short. Same thing here with dealers, right? I mean, they even added a little bit extra to the short. So what we want to do here, I mean, we know the weights of the stocks and the stocks that are in the NASDAQ, but if we take this watch list here, go to public NASDAQ 100, market cap, and if we were to compare this to S&P 100, we can just assume there's all the selling is going on in the NASDAQ for the most part. So what the idea here would be to do, if we don't think that the selling, break of that B low is coming. If we don't think of the selling as an opportunity to buy, right? Because we don't trust a lot of these NASDAQ stocks. Seeing the weighted AD flip over again here, so real indecision. Look to see if this breadth starts to pick up. We see information technologies flip to red. here, and the triple Q wasn't able to get above this level here. Q. But basically, here's what I'm saying is that there is some opportunity here. Bounce off the open, that's mechanical. There is some opportunity in the S&P, but you've got to compare it to the NASDAQ, right? So if most of the selling is going to come from the NASDAQ, you want to find those stocks that are in the S&P that are not in the NASDAQ. I mean, look at the ones that are doing well today. ExxonMobil, Walmart. I mean, not, I wouldn't say well, but they're doing better than most. CVX, Chevron, right? Not a ton. PayPal. Netflix is actually doing okay today, which is surprising. Coming back here now, though. Yeah, just breaking it slow. It just had that big run up early on. So look for the market to establish here. Now that we've cracked the open, what we'd like to see, if we're going to get that Globex low, we'd like to see the market establish below the open. Watch this weak spot 40.26. That's probably where you've got a lot of long stops hiding at. You wonder if there's a way of tracking data from more than one exchange from a chart in Sierra from BTC data that's more reliable. Burpee has BTX. I can large fine, but TVs and couldn't read volume. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that would, it would be kind of hard to understand that. YouTube eats everything people put on the table. I follow Ricky Gutierrez for a while back. I don't like to talk badly about anyone, but I don't like it at all. The man is a bit fake. And it's the internet, bro. Like a lot of people on YouTube are just, you know, they're trying to get clicks. When you see high liquidation spike and open interest decreases, then you expect a reversal. I don't really track open interest intraday. The 200 EMA is no joke. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people are watching it, so it makes sense to have it up. And you know, if we look here on the ES, this is the daily here. This is something that I was talking about in the trade view. You have this 50 EMA, which is another one that people really like because it's part of the golden cross, sitting down here right around that 4,000 level, very psychological level. And that could be a target that you start to see, you know, these pile-on traders start to target. Apple jumped back down right to its open. AMD is just weak as fuck today. Still just one time framing down since the open here. The bot did well, AMD, so you're seeing some weakness in tech, or I mean in chip makers here. Nvidia looks pretty weak as well. Not doing as bad as AMD, but it still pretty weak here. And the triple Q, I know we've got it up right here. At 307, so that's that gap. It was looking to try to fill that gap, wasn't able to do it, and now has reversed and come all the way back to its open. TNX is just breaking out here. The dollar's trying to come back to life. Oil is just on a tear. You shall not pass. Like I said, I think it's going to be a cold winter in Europe this year. These British Petroleum calls are up 40%. But those are January 23 calls, so they're long calls, but they're already up 43%. I purchased them for 88 bucks and they're up 123 bucks. Remember I talked about getting Pepsi puts? Those Pepsi puts are up 124%. Let's go, motherfuckers. I might slang them. I have to 124%. You can't really pass that up. What's up, Kevin? My ADPNs are down 30% though, Jared. What's the deal? My new place is great, bro. It's great. Super happy.
Did she everything painted?
Yep, I got everything painted, everything set up. I mean, I unpacked boxes all weekend. That's all I did. I'm done. Like the only thing we need to get like a couple things for the house, like, you know, a trash can, some shelving going on inside the pantry, some storage bins, you know, for like paperwork and shit. But other than that, everything's set up and good.
That's awesome, man.
Something key here to note too is that the tick has failed to hold above the 0 level, but hasn't made a lower low. Just broke above, and this is another thing too. So when we see the tick break the 1,000 level, which typically, you know, if you're an RSI person, below 1,000 is oversold and above 1,000 is overbought, right? So if the market was making a low in conjunction with breaking 1,000, then you wouldn't even think about it. But it's breaking below 1,000 and not making a lower low yet. So that's just something to be cautious of, right? So if you are short, that's just something to kind of key into and be like, okay, hey, let me be a little bit cautious on this trade. Are those options trades? Or those just they're options trades? Yeah. So I shorted Pepsi. Did I buy these? I get these Pepsi quotes. So there's the break. Watch this 26 level. You want to see it hold below that 26 level that on any bounce. Watch this 26 level here. You want to see them reoffer this 26, and that might be an opportunity to get short with a stop above the open. On 825, I bought those puts for Pepsi. What day was that? Might have been on Friday. No, it was Thursday. Thursday was it? AMD just hit another low. Yeah, AMD's kind of like leading the way down. It's down the most out of the stocks that we pretty much track, or that I track. It's down more than most. So it didn't hold that 26 there at all. Now it's back above the open. And I'll show you guys why I liked this short on Thursday from Pepsi. Straight off the daily chart. You can basically just kind of see like Pepsi didn't break its high like the market did, right? So the market had been balancing, Pepsi didn't go. Friday it did. But I mean I liked this level on Pepsi. I'd been watching this level here. Pepsi seemed to be like it was, you know, just too overdone and needed to check back into reality, and it got it. I pretty much scan stocks like all day. Like when I'm playing video games or whenever I'm doing whatever I'm doing, a lot of times I'll just open up the watch list right here, right? And I have it tethered to right here, and I'll just scroll to the top and I'll switch this thing to the S&P 500. And I'll just start at the top and I'll have it on a daily chart, and I'll just slowly click through it all and, you know, try to find what I'm looking for. And then if I see a setup that I like, then, you know, opportunities there. Been watching you for weeks. Also fairly new at trading, started learning in 2009. Your commentary has helped in what I have been learning. You're very clear and easy to understand. I have a personal account, but I'm also able to finish earning a funded account today. Took a short on NQ around. Hell yeah, bro. You finished your funding account? Fuck yeah. Good shit, Kevin. Post your once you get your thing, post it in the Discord, bro, so we can share it. And I appreciate it, man. I'm glad I'm able to help. That's one thing, and I really do appreciate that, because that's one thing I really kind of try to focus on, is being, you know, easy to understand, right? I think a lot of times people hang on, I'm gonna close this Pepsi put real quick. I think a lot of people overcomplicate things, right? They're like, oh, well, this and that and this and that and this and that, and it's like, there's a saying out there, I can't remember exactly what it is, but you know, if you can't explain something in layman's terms or just like basic English, then it's probably BS. You know, I think everything should be able to be easily explained as much as possible, right? Like some things, you know, obviously, like when it comes to the profile, a lot of times, you know, there's so many nuances that we can't be, there's no concrete evidence, but there is ways to explain it that you know, that don't need to be over complicated. Like, you know, if the dollar is doing this and this and this and this and this and this, and then GDP and fucking blah blah blah, you know, that just, I mean, for intraday trading, that's just, you know, that's just chaos. There you go. If you can't explain it simply, then you probably don't understand it. There we go. That's the best way. And a lot of times when you hear people, you know, explain certain things, especially when you don't understand them yourself, you're like, damn, that sounds complicated. You know, it's probably just a rehearsal. There's a lot of like, you know, scientists and stuff, or, you know, big science people, or big tech people, um that are easily able to just break stuff down. You know, like even with my uncle, right? My uncle's big into code and shit, but he's able to explain it to me, someone who knows nothing about code, in ways that I'm able to understand it without having to, you know, get all codey on me. You know, because he has a good grasp on what's going on. Someone that didn't know code would probably be dropping, you know, I mean, I don't even know, but like dropping some fucking, you know, some terms, some keywords, right? To get, you're like, oh damn, this guy, you know, and then you Google it and you're like, oh, keyword, keyword, keyword. So back below this 26 level, watch to see if this 26 level gets offered here. I don't know what I'm keying in on right now. They're just not able to hold it below that 26. Seems like there might be a buyer under there. Every time they get to that 26 level, this thing gets popped up. Which kind of makes me think if it's able to establish below, we should see some shorts get covered. That's why you always ask? What do you mean, Reyes? Definitely will. Good shit, Kevin. Yeah, that's awesome. Watch this 26 level, guys. If they can hold it below this 26 level, or if they start to offer this 26 level, it could be a good target for that low there. That 21 was the low. 284 lots sitting on there. Because you don't know nothing. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, if you guys ever have any questions, like, I'm not gonna fucking berate you. I always encourage you guys to ask questions. It gets me talking, and you know, it's beneficial for me because it makes my brain think. You know what I mean? Like, change this to candlestick. You know, it makes my brain start going. Nice. Not bad, not bad. Let's see if we can get this 21 here. Volume is down compared to Friday. Oh shit. Good call, Peter. Where's my mouse at? Oh yeah, it's down about 11%. Damn, big drop in volume. There's that 21. So this is a spot, if you shorted, definitely cover some here. Don't let this thing come all the way back to the 26 on you. That poor low getting put in. So stop really should just be right here at the 23.5. What's the downside of a funded account? Downside of a funded account would be you have to, after you make a certain amount of profit, you have to share it with the person that's funding you. All right, so target here is the Globex low now. I don't really pay attention to value on the overnight session. I don't really. Watch for that. Maybe the 15 level and then the 13 level you could see some buying at. There was some decent volume down there, but in this 15 to 13 area, 4,000 right there. But other than that, I don't really see much. Yeah, and you know what's interesting, Peter, that you bring that up. Oops, let me pull up the diary. Something I always look at every day is this, the market's diary. More so we can see the chart still. And this is as of Friday, but we got this move down, a really, you know, gigantic move down, but you know, volume not, I mean, 300,000 contracts. What's that? No, that's not shit. You know, you would think a huge move down like that. I mean, what's the percentage? The percentage move down on Friday was you know 3.5%. You haven't had a 3.5% day in a decent amount of time, but yet, you know, a week ago the volume was pretty much the same. And a week before that, you know, the market was just kind of balancing. So it's a really interesting that the volume on this downside is so low. And this is kind of what we saw. We go back on the charts, right? We've been kind of looking at this back here when we were towards these lows on these moves up was kind of the first time that we actually saw volume increases on moves up. So like right here, we actually saw the volume increase. And same thing right here, we actually saw the volume increase. So it was actually kind of interesting that we saw volume increase on the way up, but you know, on the way down, we really haven't seen that volume increase too much. Amazon just broke that previous low that we were talking about like early this morning. Where is fucking face Mark? Not Mark, Dan. Dan, you there? $700 set 20 contracts sitting on the 25 here. AMD new low for the day. Those AMD puts are they're in the money. Yeah, watch this 23 level here. 23 half is, I mean, probably should have taken profit already, but 23 half would be the last. I'd let it roll. Yeah, I agree with Poke. Like you know, if you're struggling with risk management, that funded account is going to help you manage risk, because if you don't manage risk there, you're going to be struggling. D periods opening up. So I call these Brad prints, right? For those of you guys that are newer in the channel, I know they're not traditional single prints, but if B or if D period, excuse me, does not make it back up at least to the B low, that would show me that there's an entrance of at least intermediate or shorter term time frame trader entering the market. In this case, a selling trader, and showing us that there's a little bit of supply. But if we do fill these back up, you know, really just marking a little bit of rotation. D period still inside. D period takes the low. Remember, that's going to give us a signal that we're seeing one time framing to the downside. But the selling, like Peter was saying, that, you know, the volume's pretty low and we're not seeing. When should summertime end? Yeah, after Labor Day, Peter. The volume should come back. Everyone's getting back from the Hamptons this weekend. You know, after all their vacations. I'll be right back. All right, back above the open here. Looking to fill these Brad prints in. Little mechanical selling off the open. D high most likely doesn't hold. C period filled to B, single print on BTC. Oh, hang on, I'm getting a call. Hello? Hey. Oh, okay. So D high still looks a little bit mechanical to me. Sitting basically right on the open of the day. A little bit of, I mean, it ticked a couple ticks above, I guess, but not by much. I don't know if you remember, but I asked you about Sierra chart over the weekend. If it's all right, could you explain a bit more about what broker you use and if there would be a better broker you use and if there would be a better alternative option for a trader like me when you're experienced? So I have two. I have Rhythmic as a broker trading through a funded account on Apex, and then I also have my regular Stage 5 account. But I mean, honestly, like it doesn't. I think I think the best opportunity it would be to use the Apex data. You can get Sierra charts. It's $30 a month. You would have the TPO. You can go the Ninja Trader route as well. And then you only have to pay the $112 or whatever. Then you'd have the TPO. So you won't, after a couple of months, you're not going to be continuously paying that $30 a month. But I do like the funded accounts for newer traders because it gives you that opportunity to learn without having to put up all that capital. And I mean, this honestly, the sim is underutilized, and if you have that funded account or get that data, it gives you that opportunity to trade on the sim for a while without having to also risk capital. So, I think that's probably the best way to go. I would say stay on the sim for the first 30 days, at least 30 days, profitable. If you can't be profitable on the sim, and of course, the sim, given the sim is like, you can kind of cheat on it, right? It's a sim. You're like, oh, I'll just put on 500 lots right here, right? Well, in your real account, that would never be allowed because of the margin regulations. But on a sim account, a lot of times there is no margin regulations. So you can kind of skate around the rules. But if you're honest with yourself and you're documenting your trades and things like that, then the sim can be an extremely good way to at least track your trading. And then when you put it on a real account, you continue to track your trading, and it should help you be profitable. And so then when you do that, you go onto these funded accounts, and it's kind of like a sim account, but it actually puts a little bit of money on the line, so it puts a little bit of emotion on here, or with the with the opportunity to still make money as well. Yeah, of course. The bot's out, so it's sold, huh? Interesting.
Yeah. In times that pass, that usually means a reversal soon. Yeah, the bot is out at 582 up
Nice.
for the day. I'm still doing 3 contracts, but it did do, I didn't announce it just because I was in meetings, and it's hard to keep up with my chat in the Zoom while I'm doing my meetings. But it did a 3 candle buy because it dipped back a little bit, and so it did a 3 candle buy on. So it ended up doing 3 buys, 3 contracts each. So 9. It was 9 contracts in by the time it sold out. By the time it got out. And sure enough, look at that. It just took it did an up, although I guess we'll see if it sticks.
Yeah, a lot of times the bot's been pretty spot on, at least telling us that volume's thinning out enough to just get out.
Well, I would say this, that typically when the bot gets out, it's usually within, I'd say 15 to 20 minutes max. And that's even probably pushing it. It was probably more like 10 minutes that things start to take a reverse. Often, I'll say 80% of the time, that's usually what happens. It may not be a continuation all day, but at the very least, it does it for a while.
Looks like a lot of short covering down here to me. Let's watch this 23 level again. Pop above that 23 level will probably take us back to the D high. 23, yeah, 23, 24 level. Time is it? Oh, it's only 11:12. A lot of stuff on the lows. Tesla just hit a low. AMD, well, AMD's bouncing, but hit the low. The Dow didn't make a newer low on this last 15 minutes. SPY's looking close to that 400 level. Triple Q coming down here. Tesla's making a new low right now. Apple's making a new low. Amazon's kind of bouncing here. Google's kind of bouncing here. So there's kind of a mixed bag all around here.
Looked like a bunch of sectors just went green just a second ago.
Yeah.
So communications, real estate went green. And
Staples.
consumer staples, yeah.
Yeah.
All went green in the past minute or two.
Watch this 23 level. I think a break of this 23, if they give this up, you may see that move back up to that D high. So they reoffer it for now. Counts are 1 and 55 here.
They're actually now is 9 and 93. So counts are picking up a little. Looks like more volume's coming in.
Here comes that 23 level again. Looks like they're just trying to offer this 23 level still. There's the break. It's almost like it's free.
Well, it's looking like the bot might have called it. Although I guess I shouldn't speak too soon.
Yeah,
No
I mean,
guarantees.
it looks like it's balancing, but if I mean it popped up to that 28 right there, but didn't, or 27 didn't crack the open though. There's still a little bit of selling up here. I thought we were gonna get a little bit larger move from that 23. Let's see on this retest. a little battle of shorter time frame traders here now that looks like the market's kind of working itself out. And like I said, you know, we're into the end of the month. It's really hard for me to just kind of jump on the downside. A lot of times these institutional traders aren't really willing to get, you know, super net short at the end of the month. Can see the sectors here. You know, technology's a little bit weak. Healthcare is starting to turn up, but still below its open. Consumer discretionary has basically been trending down. Financials looks to have maybe found a bottom for the day. Communications bounced off its open, but coming back down. Industrials still struggling below its open. Staples looks the strongest, honestly, besides energy. And then utilities is gassing, materials, and real estate all green here. So the weaker sectors, or the kind of less risky sectors, are look to be kind of doing better than the others. A little bit, another bounce there off that 23. Let's see if they push this thing back up to the D high this time. Like I said, we still have those Brad prints here holding the low. Volume's coming in at, that's BPOC. Looks thin on both sides, honestly. Seen the weighted AD make higher lows as well. Not that it's going green or anything, but it's just not making new lows. And Apple didn't get into its gap, which is surprising. You know, it did crack that 160 level, but we didn't really see a ton of selling yet to try to get back into that gap where we see some opportunity to get some responsive buying. So I think buyers are patiently waiting down here to buy up Apple, and they'll let the pot leak out until it gets that opportunity, right? Longer term money is really patient. A lot less emotional than shorter time frame traders, which is why I think Friday was, you know, real emotional. Is this a dead cat bounce? On what? We're not even really seeing any bounce, to be honest. How are you? How are September's historical for stocks? Usually have down month in September. Yeah, normally stocks do as well. Yeah, stocks, I mean, stocks are mostly downside as well. But I mean, you've got to think a lot of institutional or big managers coming back from their vacations. They're going to be shopping for discounts here, right? A lot of things are marked on sale. A lot of things are down 20% for the year. If we pull up, one thing I like to look at as well, FinViz, they have a nice calendar, or a nice little heat map here. I like to go year-to-date performance, and so you can see here we have, you know, Microsoft's down 20%, Google's down 20%, Amazon 21%, Tesla 18%, Meta's 50%, Apple the strongest, right? But you know, you've got some bigger names that you imagine, you know, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, not really going anywhere, down 20%. It might be an opportunity to, you know, to grab some more. We just saw it, you know, if we look at the last month, you've got a pretty big move up in them. And then the last week they had that fairly big size move down. So it's like, you know, kind of a rinse and repeat situation is what it appears to me. right? It's like, oh, I bought this last week for $100, sold it for 150, and now they're charging $100 for it again. So maybe I'll buy some more. And that's, the cause of emotional traders really just trying to short the market. Like I said, I use Twitter as a sentiment tracker, and basically everyone went from the bull market's over to, or the bear market's over to, the stock market's crashing. And I understand, 3% down is a pretty, 3.5% down is a pretty decent sized down day, but it's not a crash. You don't even have circuit breaker markers till 7%, I think, is the S&P. Let me see here. Yeah, 7%, 7% limit down, 7%, 13%, and 20% would be limit downs. So, I mean, you're at half of that, but that's only a portion of the way. There goes those Brad prints. They're filled. Well, that lets you know that shorter time frame traders pretty much moved out of there now.
We passed the D high, didn't we?
Yeah, we broke the
Oh yeah,
high.
sure enough
Yeah,
we
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to determine if the bot was playing with us or actually giving out good information.
No, it was good. It was good.
Okay. Well, bot strikes again.
And Mark, yeah, that's a tough one. Also, like dead cat bounce, like from the lows here. Switch to the yes. It's tough, really. I mean, I still think that we're in a longer term downtrend, right? 1, 2, 3. You're seeing the kind of bounces off of this same downtrend line. But it's hard. It's hard, really, to call, this move, especially if if you're a big Fibonacci person. I saw all the talk online that it you know what is it called? It was over the 50% retracement level, and blah blah blah, fucking doesn't do 50% if this and that. Regardless of if it does or if it doesn't, I don't really buy into those kind of theories. I do buy into the fact that this gap right here held all week after gapping down Monday, wasn't able to fill, and this to me shows an entrance of another time frame seller, and it makes sense. Where are they going to sell? Same spot they've sold before, this 4303. We've been tracking this for ages, it feels like. Popped it up, and then boom, the market came down pretty heavy off that. I think a lot of this move down was liquidation early on, and then in other time frames seller entered the market here around this 4220. So until that gets filled, really, and we just put in another gap today, we can see it here. It's kind of telling us that maybe some other time frame traders entered the market. That's why I would like to see this 4080 level, that 4080 level, as an area to see the seller that was up here move down to continue selling, if we're going to see continued selling. I think if the market reclaims that 4080 level, that won't be good for the downside, and you might see some more upside from that move. But I mean, yeah, if you're looking for that macro, that kind of long term, there's really no argument with that we're in a downtrend, right? That's just pretty much a fact. Guy in my crypto Discord says the level to hold SP is 40.26. If we lose, then we'll probably go to 39.50. 40.26. We're below that today, I think, right? Yeah. That was like last night's Globex point of control. The level really, to me, I think to hold on the ES is this excess. So the next, what we do is, excess and balance, the two most important things in the market. So now that we've broken out of balance, right? Previous balance, where's the next excess? Well, the next excess is here, right? If we look at this low here, this low is at 39.13 quarter. So that would be the next test on a bigger scale for the market to test below if it continues going. But we don't want to discount some of these, these previous lows. And really this 4,000 level is kind of like the next level down. I think if we lose the 4,000 level, then you might be targeting, that 39.50, and he's kind of probably looking at this previous low here, that 39.50, or this previous balance, the middle of it. I don't really see a significance in 40.26. I don't know where he's getting. I don't know why 40.26 is so significant. Like right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's the significance of that. I don't know if he explained it anymore or not. The premiums are starting to flip. Up or down, Dan? Contracts are up. Nice. It's lit. I closed out my Pepsi put and my well, that's actually, I think that's the only thing I closed today was my Pepsi put. Big news Friday, average hourly earnings, NFPs, and unemployment. Trading between two previous balances, it looks like. Yeah, I agree, Tommy, it is. Apple's down 2% now. Looks like it wants that gap. If Apple starts to break down into that gap, you could start to see the market really catch a low and get dramatic. We have big options expiry on Wednesday, which is interesting because typically you'll get these options expiring at the end of the month, but or the end of the week, excuse me, but because Friday is Wednesday, I'm all fucked up. Because Wednesday is end of month expiry, Wednesday will probably be a bit volatile as we get those options expiry going into Wednesday. I don't know how much liquidity is expected, but yeah, the calendar for this week, tomorrow, we've got that Jolts job openings, we've got Fed Williams on the mic, and then Wednesday we have ADP non-farms. That could be a decent sized mover. That's way before the market. And then we've got Chicago PMI 15 minutes after the market opens, crude oil inventory, and then Bostic speaks Wednesday night. which should be a pretty decent size, a pretty decent Globex session to trade. I think Wednesday night might be pretty decent. Thursday, we've got non-farms and jobless claims, and then manufacturing PMI after the market opens, ISM numbers after the market opens, and then Bostic again. So Bostic on Wednesday, Bostic on Thursday, and then Friday, for the first time, we've got those private non-farm payrolls, average hourly earnings, and the factory orders, which, and well, unemployment rate as well. That's going to be a pretty decent size mover before the market opens. So maybe we'll do an early session on Friday. Might not be a bad idea. But these factory orders, I think, could be a decent indication on forward progress, and I think maybe we see a little bit of reaction off that. D lows right off that D half back here. So look at the market. Oh, excuse me. When we look at the market right now, a thing to key in on here is the market right now is balancing on a shorter time frame, right? So you get C period, we see D period inside of C period, and so far E period inside of D period. So if we think about this in a balanced perspective, right, break it down. Here's your balance. If E period should break this D or C low, right, look below. If volume comes in, go with. If volume doesn't come in and the market comes back, and this kind of makes it a little bit easier, because if E breaks C but comes back into D period, you get the opportunity to buy and trade it back to the mean, which is, you know, basically the open or the 40.29, right? And a lot of times if it doesn't get a reaction off of this VPOC, then the target would be that C high at 46. But as of right now, you know, there's really no, you know, no kind of opportunity. Unless you were long right there from that 23 again. God damn. I didn't hit it that second time. Isn't a dead cat bounce a fast dip with a rally back that turns out to be a fake rally with continuation down? I don't know about that. The definition of it. Oh man, I'm tired. I had a long weekend. A lot of shorts starting to cover here. This is just moving up straight up. I'm not sure about the definition there, Kevin.
Brad, I got a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, but you just wanted to, I thought it was euro.
So you were just talking about, yeah, like a failure for, not a failure, but the scenario whether it fails at the CD low, or if it pushes through it, and whether or not you looked at, or not whether or not, whether volume comes in there, or if it doesn't and it makes its way back up. How are you looking at the volume? What are you seeing that would determine whether or not enough volume is coming in to make that determination?
So what I want to see is, so let's say the market comes down here, right? And you can kind of see how it just kind of tapers off.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times what will happen is we'll break, you'll get a chunk of volume, right? So break maybe a couple ticks below, you'll get that chunk of volume. That's where all the shorts start to cover, that take a little bit of profit. It comes back up. I want to see nothing above that, right? I wanted to see it go and then get back below that chunk of volume. Gets back below that chunk of volume and then go.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and like so typically you see these bounces off this short covering here, right? At a
Yeah.
low. And when we see those bounces, what we look for is the continuation, right? And if there's continuation, you go back to the next, let's say the next chunk of volume. So right here on this low, there's a buyer down here, right? And the buyer is pretty much in this area right here. There's a buyer down here somewhere from like the 23 where we've seen all these bounces come from. And we can assume that because of how the volume has come in, right? It's tapered. Shorts covered here, right? Or got squeezed here and covered here at the 23. And then the volume tapers back up to the middle, right? It gets weak here. So shorts got squeezed again. The volume tapers and comes back up to here. So here is the next spot where these shorts got squeezed at last time we were up here. So this is kind of where we can expect them, and which is, you know, confirmation because of the last is there, right? So they're mechanical shorts, just using easy to see references as spots to get in and out of the market. And so what we want to see to get continuation above this, right, is as the market bounces, and you can see the weak spot here, and it's bounced above it, ran into some volume. As it comes back down, we don't want to see it trade lower, right? And I'm not saying like 2 ticks, 1 tick, but you don't want to see continuation down back into the volume, kind of like we're seeing now, right? Continuation back down into this weak volume. 1 second. Hey, you still at the store? We need a toaster. I threw the old toaster away. Yeah, because I was gonna make a bagel this morning and then fucking no toaster, so yeah, that's alright. Yeah, it was shit. That's why I tossed it. Oh, okay. No. Alright. Yeah. Alright, sounds good. Love you too. But sorry. So basically how we're seeing it kind of retrace all the way back down in, right? And that's what we don't want to see. And so what we watch for, we know that that buyer has been buying in this area. And so as it comes back down to weak volume, if the buyer is strong, he should backfill this area. So see an area that he didn't get a chance to buy earlier because all of the short covering, right? People running for the door. If he's buying all of this and he didn't get a chance to buy here, well, he doesn't want to buy here. He knows that's a weak spot. So as the market bids back down, he should hold this area. And if he doesn't hold that area, then it tells us that the chances of the market rotating back down to where he was buying originally are probably the key, right? And it's the same idea on the upside, you know, just to inverse it a little bit. We had B period come up, the market tapered off the high. So the seller is here, right? So you're getting a shorter term, and I'm just assuming that this is shorter term trading because the volume's so light. But we've got a shorter term buyer sitting here, longer term buyer sitting here, or longer term buyer sitting here, shorter term seller sitting here. And the market moved down, it's the same thing. You get these C period buyers squeezing out in the same area, right? Mechanically using the last as their spot to capitulate, rotating back to the mean, the fairest value of price, right? The same thing, we have our value area, right? Where most of the business is conducted, and you've got a lot of tick traders in there, as I'm starting to refer to them as, that are just stealing ticks, right? That's all they're doing. They just want a tick. They're like, I'm happy with 1250. I'll take my tick and run, right? Which is, you know, great, but it seems like a, you know, eventually leading into a high blood pressure medication job, right? You're just stealing ticks all day. You know, it's like running across the highway. Eventually, a car's gonna fucking run you over, and you're not gonna be able to run across the highway for a couple weeks, right? Depending upon how bad the injury is. And so this is just kind of like how my brain works, I guess, and how I monitor for it. And those are the key things. I know a lot of people key in on the high volume aspects of it, but for me, they're less important. Not that they're not important. It's just that they're less important because they don't tell us as much. They don't give me as much information. At least how my brain picks up on the patterns, right? And I'm not saying that's the right way to key in on it, or the only way to key in on it. It's just that's the way that my brain makes it work.
Nice.
And I need a toaster. I forgot to turn the mic off. So. I went to make a bagel this morning and fucking no toaster. I was like, God damn it, dude. You know when you like are about to make, like, let's say you wake up and you're like, some eggs sound good for breakfast. You look in your fridge, no eggs, and you're just like, motherfucker. You know, how my morning was. Time is it? 11:42. About 15 minutes until the next period opens up. E period still inside of C period. And notice that 31, right? We didn't see any backing and filling there. You didn't really get a lot of trading in that 31 level. More or less just the buyer just, you know, started to take profit at that level and the market just kind of squeezed past it. AMD just makes a new low right here and then bounces. Tesla's on the low. Damn, I should have bought those fucking puts, man. I bitched out on Tesla puts again. Remember we had talked about Tesla last time it split, dropped 30%. Well, we're kind of seeing that again, right? Tesla splits to does the split here. What day did they do their split? So yeah, they did the 3-to-1 split on the 24th. And fourth here. They're down about 7%. And the last time they did a split, we look back here. Like 2 years. Oh, it just says their most recent split. Oh no, here's their last split, yeah. So they did the 5-to-1 split back here. And they dropped 34%. So I was wrong. It was actually 34%. I thought it was about 30%, 34%. So I mean, a pretty big move, and that's in 8 days. 34% move. And if we scroll to what's going on now, we're seeing here's the split, the 24th. We're just taking it from high to low, so unfair, but you know, down about 7.5% already. So figure 30% if it history rhymes and all that. You're looking at 273. So let's look. 273 would put us back inside of an upper balance and still have this gap here. inventory correction without the throughout the day. Yeah, so basically the market gets too long and too short for the most part throughout every day, right? And the key is kind of like where you see these big chunks of volume at the lows or at the highs. And so imagine if there's just no more selling or no more buying. It's kind of like the supply and demand, right? It just kind of runs out. So you get this move up, right, in this B period, and a lot of this buying here, a lot of this trading is, you know, they're getting it up, they're getting it up, they're getting it up, right? Imagine you're buying your TV for 40, 48, and eventually there's just no more buyers. And so all of these people have all of this supply and they've got to get rid of it, and so they move the market down to get rid of it because nobody is buying it up here. So they've got all this supply now and they've just got to move it down. And then the same thing on this side, right? All this demand, and then they've got to move it up, or they've got to move price up to get rid of it, right? Or to correct it. And so I know a lot of times the easiest way to think about it, Tommy, is how Jim Dalton explains it, that the market moves down not because there's more sellers than buyers, but the market moves down to shut off the selling, right? And the market moves up to shut off the buying, right? And so you're always, and I'm always looking for that at any move when we take a high, right? Is the buying shutting off? That's like kind of like the first thing. Is the buying shutting off? And if you keep seeing the market push, then that would kind of show you. And a lot of times the key at those spots is, you know, let's say if we break this B high, the key there is you see it run, right? And you won't see it retrace, or you won't see it pause. It'll just run, and then it'll do a little bit of that, right? Those little tiny pullbacks, but it won't give you those little, you know, any of this kind of balance that gives an opportunity for a seller to move in and drop some supply on the market, right? If there is no supply, or if buyers are not done, they'll just continue to soak up all the inventory that's in there. And it's the same thing on the downside. Whereas when the selling comes down, if there is still people selling, if there's still a lot of supply in the market won't give these little bounces and kind of balance. It'll just go and go. And we saw it, you know, for the most part, on Friday. If we break this out, you know, the market just pretty much traded down the whole time. You have very volatile, but this little bounce here, when it broke that G period, I mean, there was no volume. It just ticked up and immediately came right back down. I period opened up, and then the selling continued. So the market may have gotten a little bit too short early on. I think it was more attributed to, you know, people buying a certain number, right? Mechanical traders saying, you know, people that are down for the day, kind of risking it for the biscuit here late in the day, buying it. And, you know, sellers had noticed it, right? Smart selling had noticed, oh shit, these guys are just buying the 4100. Let's just let's see how much gas they got, right? Market moved up. Nobody had any more nickels to throw in the machine, and then the selling just continued. And so that's kind of how I track it. And really throughout the day, like especially today, a very balanced profile. You've got the buying tail on the bottom in the C, the selling tail on the top on the B. Until you get a push outside of that, that's outside of like the 40, 48 and the 40, 20, really you're just kind of assuming that, you know, you're going to get a reversion to the mean, because most of the people that are buying at the high are momentum traders, and most of the people that are selling at the low are momentum traders. And unless, you know, somebody with some size comes in and wants to be like, oh hey, I've got some extra ones, I'll sell with you down here, then chances are that we just rotate back towards the mean. Hopefully that was helpful. You're short most tech at the moment, including Tesla and Meta. Likely be shopping Meta calls fairly soon. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I think Meta I think Facebook is done. I think they're like I've been saying this for a minute. I think that they're eventually going to go away. I don't think that they're going to be a company anymore. Not all the companies are going to make it. I think that's one of them.
You got to watch out for WhatsApp though. It's using so much outside the US and they own that.
Oh, Meta does. You're right. Yeah, that's actually a good point.
If you can't, anything in South America where I've been around, that's where they expect you to communicate, not on their phone lines.
So that's, yeah, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
And in India, they're using it to chat with banks because it's secured. So people can actually make transactions with it. So that's why I don't know. I've looked at that too, but WhatsApp really might hold them up.
Yeah, maybe if they rotate into that, the key thing here for Meta that I'm kind of looking at, and I mostly just think Facebook is going to die, and I mean, Facebook's pretty much already dead. Instagram's still very popular. Instagram's even starting to do they're trying to be TikTok, which is smart. The only thing that they don't have is, they don't have like a physical something. Like, so if they make a cell phone, like a WhatsApp, thing, that would be ideal. They're trying to get something in your hand, right? Kind of like how Microsoft, right? Everyone's on their computer, boom, Microsoft. Apple, computer, phone, AirPods, right? They've got all this shit that people buy and people upgrade, but like, yeah, you get on the tech to get the apps, or you're on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, and they make the money off mostly ad revenue and things like that, but you don't have anything in your hand. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I think Zuckerberg's trying to do, is he's trying to get into that space, and if he is able to, I think, there's the way to go. But really, fucking Apple can just create a WhatsApp thing as well, or they just have so much control, because they could just cancel it. You know what I mean? They could just be like, you know what? No more WhatsApp on the Apple store. And boom, fucking, shit gets real. Right? And same thing with Android. Android could do the same thing. Like, we're not putting even though Android doesn't give a fuck, they'll put any app on their app store, but Apple's pretty stringent sometimes. You live in Southeast Asia,
Yeah.
WhatsApp is used for everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the banking is huge though. Like, I mean, down here, people have gotten so used to bank transfers. If they could transfer through WhatsApp, I could see half the population doing it down here within a couple of years. When, and then they become Western Union.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Especially if they ever build that crypto wallet.
Yeah, I did hear about that. They're supposed to. Yeah, that's a good point. I can't guarantee how long it'll take to get back up there, but notice that we haven't had a 15-minute NYSE tick close above 0 yet. Yeah, that's a key. We've got 5 minutes left in this one. The thing is, too, we got alerted early to this selling getting a little bit oversold, too, in this C and D period here, breaking below that 1,000 tick and not breaking. It happened before it broke the low. Yeah, I'm sure. Like, have you guys ever seen the show called Super Pumped? I thought TikTok passed Facebook. Well, I guess Facebook is grouped in with Facebook, Instagram. It's all combined. Snapchat, I think, is Facebook as well, isn't it? Or Meta, which is why they changed their name to Meta, because they're not just Facebook. I think individual apps, I know Instagram is 5th. You don't think you've ever seen that? What's that? Oh, that's a July 2022 report. Okay, yeah, I was talking, well, the last time I looked it was like in January, I think, when the TikTok was like the #1. I think it was just the #1 most downloaded app. Might not have been the #1 most used app. Yeah, it's sad. You think Facebook is trustworthy? Oh, Super Pumped? Dude, it's dope. It's on Amazon. It's an Amazon Prime show. It, you know, it's good. I mean, it's just really good, and it makes you really think, like, you know, this is probably what they're doing. I know it's a show, but you know, there's a lot of stealing of personal information on the show. We're just kind of operating around the boundaries, I guess. So here goes F period. Let's see what we get. Got some Brad prints to the low side of E now. There went the first 15-minute close above 0. Yep. Tesla catching a pretty big bounce, getting all the way back to its open here. A little bit of selling off the open. TikTok is next level spyware. Hoping you didn't diamond hand these Tesla puts for too long. When's their expiration? But you got BBBY calls. That's a brave. I mean, a gamble, really, but. Too bad. Apple's back above its open as well. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I said, I think that we kind of just balance into the end of the month. End of the month is Wednesday. So you may get a move down then. Back up to this 43 level. This level was a big level. All right, Peter. We'll catch you later, man. 76% up. Nice. So watch the break of this C high here. Let's zoom this in. And watch this volume here on this right side. So if we break the C high, what you want to see to get continuation or a break of balance, right? Because we're talking about that C balance, would be the volume come in. So you let it pop. Look for where the longs are going to take profit, which is probably going to be right here at 49. 49, 48, 50. That's where we saw action earlier. You let them take profit there, and we'll just draw it over here so it's not in the way. Let them take that profit and look for the retrace, right? If they are going to come in, they should backfill the weak spot, which is here around this 46, 47 level. So look for a push up to here, back check this level here, and then that would give us opportunity for continuation. So notice no upticks, right? So you don't get that buying follow through at that 46. Just telling you more balance. Now watch the last as an opportunity for this buyer that had been buying to step up. If they hold the last, you might have good opportunity, but like I said, on a breakout of balance, you'd want to see them defend that weak level. And I mean, we're only 4 minutes in, so there's still opportunity, but this, it's kind of squandered early, like as far as strength goes. You are seeing the weighted AD flip back to green here, though. But still, yeah, just neither here nor there. Just looks kind of weak. Case in point, scoop these BBY calls last week based on the chart in front of me, rather than the news. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with like trading the news, I don't think, but you've just got to be those are in and out plays if you because the premium, especially on options, will get fucking fried if the volatility kicks down. But they held the last there pretty decently. It's really thin up here. See the offer come in. Watch this 47.75. If it doesn't get back below that, this thing's gonna rally. There's the offer. Still having a tough time holding below this 47.75 here. That looks like the key spot that buyers are trying to step up and hold. And they lost it. Next move down, 45 quarter. Notice the volume coming in right here at that 45. Okay, so we popped up to the 49. F period looked above this balance, this C balance, right? C, D, E period, we're all balancing together. Oops. I want to get it all in the frame. So we're looking at a balance here. We just looked above the balance. Right, I wouldn't call this a taper. I would say that there was some competition here. And we're starting to see some volume come in here. Above this kind of weak point here. The key is to see if it's going to hold last. But I like this volume here to get continuation and get these shorts covering. And I'm kind of honestly, you know, expecting a late day short covering rally because we didn't break that Globex low. That was kind of what we were looking for today, is a break of the Globex low. We might see some more downside, but since we didn't break it, you know, it really does have me leaning pretty upside here. It's gonna be hard for me to break my side bias. The 1290 on the NQ. Where would that gap fill from yesterday? Well, the Nasdaq already filled the gap. Nasdaq did fill the gap. All right, so now that we're seeing this volume come in, this is where we need to see continuation, right? Because you want to see not only buyers willing to step up, but you want to see sellers willing to get out, right? If not, we're just having kind of a two-way competition, and you know, that's just basically telling us that supply is meeting demand, and if there's not enough demand to keep going up, that most of this is just the buying getting cut off, and the rotation probably likely back down to the mean. Where I'd like to see the market stay above here is this 46. All right, guys. Well, market's just basically getting real slow up here. I am kind of still leaning, towards the upside. I do think that is most likely the direction that the market wants to go. But failure to break that B high really just kind of has us, assuming, especially if we break back below the last, that the opportunity to rotate back into the mean becomes fairly good odds, right? But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I gotta go to the DMV to get a Pennsylvania license, and then maybe get some swimming. It's supposed to be 92 degrees where I'm at today, so gotta get that pool life on. But other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in. If it is your first time tuning in, make sure to drop a comment in the chat so we can post the link for you. Make sure to smash that like button. If you want to join a Discord community of people that are all like-minded, looking to take back some of their time from the market, definitely we'd be more than happy to have you. Only thing we ask is that you be positive and respectful, but make sure that you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan, and have a wonderful day. I will catch you all later.